The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Vice President Leni Robredo condemns Russia's invasion of Ukraine, saying that one must always stand against bullying and unprovoked aggression. Robredo says she stands in admiration of the Ukrainian people's courage and resilience and is proud of their efforts to defend freedom and a rights-based order ideals. Now, something that Filipinos people share. Robredo likewise praised Filipino diplomats who continue to work to keep Filipinos safe in Ukraine amid the tension. The Philippines has evacuated at least 40 Filipinos from Ukraine, with more expected to be repatriated in the coming days. Here are some election stories we're watching. Supporters of presidential aspirant Leni Robredo have denounced allegations that they were paid for Robredo's sortie in Cavite. They also clarified that everything was out of volunteerism. Now, this came after Congressman Boying Remulla called the attendees, quote, bayaran in a radio program. Meanwhile, Partido Reforma standard-bearer Senator Ping Lacson says that his program, Budget Reform Advocacy for Village Empowerment, can achieve the goals of federalism. Now, under the BRAVE program, Lacson added that funds from the national government can be directly given to LGUs. And Yodi de Guzman, who's also gunning for the country's top post, has expressed concern on consecutive oil price hikes. He said that it will create massive inflation that will affect consumers. He also urged the government to stock up volumes of oil until the crisis in Ukraine settles down. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Studies have pointed out that some individuals continue to experience COVID symptoms months after the infection, hence the term long COVID. The WHO tells us what experts know so far about it in this video.
we are talking about long COVID or post-COVID-19 condition today. Hello and welcome to Science in 5. I'm Vismita Gupta-Smith. We are talking to Dr. Janet Diaz today. Welcome, Janet. Let's start, Janet, with what we have learned so far in the third year of the pandemic about the symptoms of post-COVID-19 condition.
Thank you, Vismita, and we've learned quite a bit. I think if you reference our most recent publication on the definition of post-COVID-19 condition, we highlight 3 symptoms there that are common. One is fatigue. The second is shortness of breath or trouble breathing. And this is an important one for those of you that potentially may have been very active before. So think about your breathing. Are you more limited? Let's say you used to run 1 mile. Is it now that you don't feel you're able to run as long because you're feeling shortness of breath? So we have to look at what your functional status was before and how you elicit if you're feeling trouble breathing. And the third is cognitive dysfunction. That is a fancy term of what is commonly referred to as brain fog. And what does that mean? That means people are having trouble with their attention, having trouble with concentration, having trouble with recall or memory, trouble sleeping, trouble with executive functioning. So that's actually the types of symptoms people have been describing. But this is just 3. There are actually over 200 symptoms described in the literature from patients who have had or have post-COVID-19 condition.
Janet, speak to us a little more about the cardiovascular symptoms.
Sure. So the cardiovascular symptoms, again, so cardiovascular symptoms can present in different ways. They can present as shortness of breath. So I've already described the shortness of breath. They can present as heart palpitations. Your heart is racing, or what we call arrhythmias. And other cardiac symptoms can present as myocardial infarctions. Now, there has been a recent report that was looking at patients who had COVID-19, and it followed them up a year after. And this report was coming out of a cohort in the United States, and they found increased risk of cardiovascular complications in that cohort. And those complications are described as having had stroke, acute myocardial infarction, which means heart attack, or other causes of thrombosis or blood clots, and including death. So they did report increased risk of death in that 1 year after the acute COVID-19.
Janet, when should people start worrying that they may have long COVID?
In our case definition, we say people should start worrying about 3 months after their acute COVID-19 illness. That gives some people to recover from the acute infection, even if they've had mild disease or more severe disease. After 3 months, that's when we say, if you have one of these symptoms, then be concerned that you could have post-COVID-19 condition and get evaluated. So another common question is, how long does it last? In our case definition, which I keep referencing, we say at least 2 months. So perhaps you may have a symptom that you're concerned is long COVID, but if it goes away after a week or a couple of weeks or a month, then we don't consider it to be long COVID. Now, if it lasts more than 2 months, then we start to say, okay, we're concerned that this is long COVID, post-COVID-19 condition. At that point, patients may experience symptoms for longer than that. They may experience up to 6 months, and there's reports of people experiencing protracted symptoms for up to a year or for more than a year.
Speak to us, Janet, about the treatments that we are recommending at this time.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. A low-pressure area being monitored by PAGASA has entered the Philippine Area of Responsibility. The LPA was spotted east of Surigao del Sur, and scattered rain showers and thunderstorms are expected over several parts of Visayas and Mindanao. The Environment Department is scrutinizing the details of a 2017 Memorandum of Agreement with the Masungi Geo Reserve Foundation. The move aims to ascertain its consistency with the provisions of the expanded National Integrated Protected Area Systems. This came after park rangers were assaulted by people believed to be working for owners of allegedly illegal resorts. And Filipino pole vaulter AJ Obiena shattered his own indoor pole vault record in a second-place finish at the Perche Elite Tour in Rouen, France. Obiena cleared 5.91 meters to break his previous mark of 5.86 meters set during the Orlen Cup in Poland last month. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.